Hello, I'm Wendy. I was looking through some old photographs today and I came across this one, which might not seem too significant, except that for me it holds lots of memories. And that's a wonderful thing about drawing and painting. When you can capture your memories in art, somehow it gives them more meaning. So I'm going to do a little ink and wash using this in my sketchbook, and let's see how it turns out. Okay, here is my photograph, and one of my goals, or I should say the challenge that I have, is not to get too tight. So in this video I'm going to make an effort to keep this really loose, and I'm using a Micron archival ink pen in a 03, which is a little bit smaller. The line is a bit smaller. Let me see, maybe here's a 005. Yeah, this one doesn't have great ink today, so we'll just let that one go. 005 is very fine, and I really like the look of it because once you put the paint on and in watercolor, which is what I'm using, I don't want the ink to take over. So the first thing I want to look at is this little pitcher. It's a cream pitcher, and I bought it in Switzerland years ago when I moved with my family to Europe, and we spent some time in Switzerland before ending up in the south of France. So when I use these things that I bought there, it reminds me of that time. And I can take a ruler, this is in centimeters, and measure this and say, okay, well, this is a bit hard to see because it's quite faint, but I can still see it. So this is about approximately 3.5 centimeters this way, and this way it's more like 4.5, maybe a little bit more. So that gives me an idea of the ratio, and I don't really want to be too caught up in that. I just need to know that it's a little bit longer. So what I'm going to start with is, because I have flowers that are going to come out kind of this way, and I've got this handle that comes out this way, I can see I need to sort of make room both ways. So I'm going to not make this necessarily exactly the same size, but I'm going to start by just putting some dots down so that I have a rough idea where everything is supposed to land. And this is the top of this little, where the light catches that, so it's going to come out a little farther. And like I said, I'm trying to make it a little bit more loose. So if it doesn't work out to be exactly right, I'm just fine with that. There's a bit of a curve here. And then this little spout comes out and around and down. And I'm not going to put that little edge thing on there. So why does it not look like it's more this shape? Well, I don't know. So I'm just going to go over some of these lines and go, okay, let's just fix them so that the finished product looks a little more accurate. Does that matter that I had to do that? No, I don't think so. It doesn't to me. Since I'm the one that needs to be pleased, that's all that matters. Now there's also some, they're not grooves, they're the opposite, in some little ridges in the piece here. So I'm just loosely doing this, go over some of those lines. You can see that there's some reflection over here, so I don't mind showing that a little bit. And then there's some over here as well. Just I'm indicating it. Now this handle comes out, and the thing about handles at an angle like this is like you follow this outside line, and then the inside line becomes also the outside line, And then there's the inside. Oops, I don't want that on there. So I am going to totally wing it. So what's the difference between trying to make it accurate and just winging it when you're drawing? And should you do one or the other? Well, the answer is you should do whatever you want to do. And the more you do it, the better you get. Now down in here, there's a little bit of a lip on this. Kind of comes around like that. I made this a little bit too long, so I'm just going to cut it back in here a little bit. Remember, loose, loose, loose. All right, over here, what I want to do is draw the things that are closest to me because I'm drawing in pen. It's got this center that's sort of little sprigs of things, and then a nice big petal out this way, nice one this way, this one in here. Because it's at such an angle, there's kind of a circle here. Okay, and then we've got this stem that comes down this way to about halfway. Like that. These are roses, so they've got this little jaggedy edge on them. Do I need to fill everything in? No, I can actually just kind of indicate that there's a jaggedy edge there. And then put another one up this way. Another one comes down here. And then for some reason there's one kind of sticking up here out of the little pot. And there's a few over here. So I'm more or less indicating that they're there rather than drawing a really specific one. There's this little thing that comes up here. And then behind it is another flower. I don't know where I got these wild roses. And I don't think I did this while I was in France because the windows were different. However, now I've got a stem coming up here with some thorns on it. And then there's some leaves in here. So basically I'm drawing the ones that don't overlap everything else. Because you want to put the other ones in behind. So there's some stem here, and then there's a leaf here that kind of goes behind this one. Covers up that stem. Where was I? Someone had just called from the animal hospital, and I don't have an animal. I used to have a lovely little Yorkie cross dog, but she went to dog heaven a while ago. Some of these are just kind of tucked in, and I'm definitely not going to put them all in here. But I do want to sort of fill things in. But keeping things loose and sort of sketchy is kind of a nice look on its own. Now I'm going to simplify it a little bit and put this bud up here. can just, I think I'll just put some random leaves in. There's a previously a live flower there, but I don't want that one. So yeah, I'll come back to that, but right now I want to put this flower in. It looks like they're all just about done because I think this one's even missing a petal. I think I have another leaf in here too. Let's just throw that one in. Anyway, I was looking through my photos of France because I've painted a couple of pictures of places that we lived in France years ago. And I thought, you know what? I would love to just paint France. I said to my husband, I was thinking, this thought occurred to me. Maybe I should just paint pictures of France. And then that means I need to go there, which I am completely okay with. So I have another bud here, which should have been in front but isn't. And then this stem that comes up here. So I was looking through my pictures to see if I could find something that would make a really good painting. And so much is about the composition, and if you don't have the composition in the photo, then it's really hard to sort of make it up. Put this, there's a bud hiding in here, but I'm going to put it out here instead. It's actually starting to open a little bit. And I kind of want to just fill in spaces here with greenery because there's just going to be a lot of it. I think that kind of works. Now, the other thing I want is here to show that it's actually sitting on something so that it kind of anchors it. And then there's the window. And this part of the window. So I've been thinking for some time what I really want to do is go back to the area in France where we lived, and I haven't been there for years. Years and years and years. And I'm feeling a little bit homesick for it, if you want the truth. Which might seem kind of funny because I didn't live there that long. But I've always been drawn to France and always been, you know, ever since high school basically. This is the light source, so I'm going to just put this here. And then there's a window ledge here. And another line here. I think I will leave it at that and put some color in here. Okay, let's see, get myself organized here. Try to get everything into the camera so that you can see it. Now, I need to turn this around again because of my muscle memory, which says pinks go up in that corner. There, that should work. Okay, I've got this one. And these are my two brushes. So this small one is a size 4 and this one is a size 6. Now, I'm not going to use the picture all that much, but I do want to. And I think I'll put the dots on afterwards with a white pen. Okay, do I want it that color? How do I make it a little bit darker? I want it a little bit more navy. And you know what? I have such a color. I have so many little piles of things here. It's so hard to move things around. I have a color here that I think kind of qualifies as navy. Well, that's not it. Okay, let me read the bottoms here. This ultramarine, that's ultramarine, but so is this, and different brands don't come out necessarily the same. That one is very much the same though, not to worry about that. And then there's, sorry, this is what I'm messing around with. These are my Kuretake paints, and they come in these little boxes, little cases. Prussian blue has too much green in it. Indigo, that might be our color. Indigo is what jeans are dyed. Yeah, I think I like that one. It's not exactly accurate, but then that's not my goal, is it? So on this side it's darker. So I'm going to put that side in first, remembering that it has that streak of light. And these paints are really creamy and almost a little bit opaque, so you can really build them up. Use less water and you get deeper colors. And this deep color, because of the light coming from the window, goes for quite a ways across the little jug here. Just put a little bit of water in that and lighten it up. And let the back of the brush kind of finish it off. And also take a little bit and put it behind here. See how effective that is? It's just amazing, isn't it? And notice how I left a little white there. I'm going to call that the reflection. And then on the handle, you can see that it's very dark. So I think I have too much water in the brush there, but we just want that to be nice and dark. And if there's a little bit of white showing around the lines, I'm okay with that because I actually really like that. It gives it a little bit of sparkle. Okay, there's my blue. I'm going to hang on to that one. Now I want to do my pink roses, and sometimes it's nice to just have the right color and not have to really manufacture it or mix it. So I've got this color. It's called Sakura Iro. How do you like my Japanese? That's all I know in the Japanese, so don't ask me anything, except maybe sayonara. And this one has been used a lot, and then look what happens. But you know what? Makes no difference. Okay. I want to get it nice and creamy and a little bit on the wet side because I don't want it to be too opaque. And I want to stay inside the lines because the opaqueness of the paint actually will cover up the black to a certain extent, and I don't really want that. So we'll just do it this way. I have too much paint here, so I'm going to pick it up with my brush and move it over here. Same here. It's on a little thicker than I want it. And the one in the back here is so pale because the light is shining right through it that I just almost want to just hint at the color. So once I've got less water in my brush, which I can do by just popping it onto the paper towel, there, I think that looks nice. And you know what the thing is, if you like it, then it's good. It's good enough. And if you don't like it, keep trying, for goodness sake. Don't give up. Okay, what I want to do is get the greens right. It's a little bit wild. Let's try this one. So I was thinking I would really like to I wanted to go to France this year, but I didn't. And part of my problem is my husband doesn't always want to go with me to things. And that's fine, and he's okay with me going, but I don't always want to go by myself. So, in fact, usually I don't want to go by myself. Not that I'm bothered by it, because I'm not. It's just that I would rather have someone to share the experience with. Isn't this pretty? I love pretty things. Yes, this color over here, I don't know if you saw that or not. I was picking up some green that was already here that I've used somewhere else. Okay, I'm going to start doing some of these. This needs a darker green. I have a nice dark green here, which is called Hooker's Green. It has just a touch of blue in it. But if I wanted to darken it up some more, I could go into Payne's Gray. And look at that. Because sometimes the way the light hits something, it makes it look almost black. So if you want to make them darker, you have to change the color of the paint. And the best way to learn how to mix paint and color, do the whole color theory thing, is to mix paint. You can make a grid, like boxes of all your colors on this side and all your colors on this side, and then you mix this one and this one, and then this one and this one, and down like that. It's really fun to do, actually, if you feel so inclined. Now, this little thing is kind of red, the bud, so I'll just leave it at that. Don't want all my leaves to be really dark like this. So I need to put a little bit of this green in there as well. So Saturday was the election here in British Columbia. And I still don't know if they figured out who won, because they have to have 47 seats out of whatever the total is, and to be the winner, declared the election winner. And they had 46 of one and 45 of the other and 2 of the third. So there's 3 parties running. And if in Canada we use a parliamentary system, and we're not like the US at all. Kind of thank goodness, to be honest, because I don't know if I could. Their electoral system is pretty intense. Anyway, if it's that close, then they have to do recounts, and who knows how long that'll take. So I don't know. This is a Monday, and I don't know if they've figured it out yet. This is coming along really nicely, I think. Let's get a dark one in here, make it really dark. Now I'm just going to put some fill in here so it doesn't look too bare. Got stems, which are pretty green. Oh, that one's kind of red actually. I'll have to fix that one. And then there's the buds. Okay, I need some red and I need a smaller brush. So as well as having an election on the weekend, we had an atmospheric river, which is a big blast of rain. It seems never ending. There was quite a bit of flooding down near Vancouver. We didn't get any here because kind of protected from it by diking. However, I got going here. Let's see. I was trying to see the color. Okay, let's put the red in and make it really snappy. This is permanent rose. That would work, okay. Because they kind of split when they're about to bloom. They split open a little bit. Like that. And then we have a little bit of, you know that color we've talked about before, which is kind of red and green together. So there it is. I just mixed some of that up. Makes the most peculiar color, really. And there's this reddish stem. See, it's reddish. It's not red. It's just reddish. And this needs a little bit more green in it. Red and green make sort of a brownish color. Let's see. So with atmospheric river, it's like buckets of rain. And well, in one 24-hour period, I think we had about 6 inches of rain here. Because my husband's got a rain gauge outside and he checks it and empties it and all that. Okay, those really pop. Isn't that nice? Let's get that out of there. I always forget to use the two things. It's like, just wash like crazy and, you know. Okay, the color of the inside of the roses with the actual exposure of this is actually quite pale. And they're not really solid yellow like this. But I think that works. And then I'll put a little bit of this bright yellow in here. It's just in dots. All right, let's do the window a little bit, just so it's not kind of floating in space. And I think what I want is something a little on the pink side. Not as pink as the roses, but something maybe warmer. Let's get this orange in here. I don't know about that one. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. All right, we need a blue-gray then. See the light, there's light here, and there's light here, and the light from here reflects on here. So I can make this a little bit darker, but not as dark as down here, which I will do in a minute. So like that, and then I'm going to pick this up and make it It's almost yellow up there, but I think that would be kind of weird. Okay, this is almost dry, so let's do some of this. You know what? I'm making it up. I'm just making it up. Let's put a little bit more Payne's gray in here. Put it down here to say this is where it's really dark. We'll just leave it like that. Also, I'm going to put a little bit of this Payne's gray down in here, and this shadow. And there's a little bit of shadow kind of around the bottom here. So I'll just do it like that. And then this handle is so bright. You know what I'm going to do? I need a little brush for this. See, you can put watercolor down and then you can dilute it on the paper. So I'll just leave it like that. Doesn't that look good? It's effective, right? Okay, the other thing I want here is a little bit of this Payne's gray and green, kind of along the bottom here of the leaves, because it looks kind of like they're floating. I want it to be quite dark because contrasts in value really make a painting. Sure, there's composition and everything, but assuming you've got that right, you need contrast and value. All right, I think this is dry. So I'm going to use some of this and a little bit of this sort of gray purple color. Just a little bit. And yes, that's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. You always have to make sure that you made enough of it to do the spaces that you're trying to fill, like in here. I missed a spot right there, as you can see. Anyway, yeah, so we had so much rain. It just pours, and then you think, oh, I think it's lightening up a little bit. And then it'll just turn on like somebody opened a bucket up there. It's wild. Okay, where's that blue? I think I might have a little bit of it left right there. That's okay. And because it's green behind, you know what I think I want to do? I need a new spot. And I want a bigger brush for this job. Let's go with this one. And I want really yellow-green. So I'm just going around them, and not very closely and not very accurately, because that's just how I want to. Because they're up against a window. Clearly, it's sunny outside. It's important to have enough water in your brush to keep going. And because this is a synthetic brush, they don't hold as much water as a natural hair brush does. And then I want to go into some of these spaces here too. And this has a nice point on it, so we can actually get in there. Let's just put a little like dabs of it here and there. And try not to miss any spots very obviously. I think that's pretty good. Okay, Now this is still a little bit wet, that dark stuff that I put in there, because I put it on pretty thickly. Wait a minute, I did something wrong with this. This window has that going for it. So let's do that and find some of this gray stuff as well. Now unfortunately there was a wet spot there, a drip of water, so it smeared the ink, but that doesn't matter very much. So I'll put the green out here too, so it kind of finishes the picture. Just one more thing, and that is the little white things on the little picture. Now I've had limited success with these kind of pens. So I have this Posca pen, which I think is probably the best record. You can tell how many I've tried. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and about 9 white pens in there, and I've been disappointed by a lot of them. So I'm going to just use this, I think, and see if it's fine enough. It's perfect, okay? And I'm going to put my little dots on here. Now, just to find out where they are. And of course there's the curve, so that makes a difference. And then you get over here and they're kind of not very white anymore. I think I'll just leave it at that. I'll put a little bit of white here. And a little bit right along there where that edge is that catches the light. But you can see that it's not like bright white. I feel like I should put another one down here, even though it's not there in the picture. Okay, I think that'll do. I think it's cute and I like it, and the only thing I want to do is camouflage this little spot where I moved the handle, just so it's not obvious. The other thing I want to do is get a little bit of this blue and a little bit of this Payne's gray and make it really watery. Really watery. And just fill in this little line here because it's not really bright white. So the question is, have I succeeded in keeping it loose? Yeah, I think so. I could probably do better, but I like it. So please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to get the notifications. Let's keep having fun together, and I'll see you next time.